Imagine this. Every year, millions of containers travel from China to the United States, but many of them never return filled. The world often looks simple on the surface, but the real story is usually very different. Welcome to our channel. Today, we're going to talk about aspects of global trade that seem simple on the surface, but are actually extremely complex. People often say that the world's economy runs on the oceans. And this is not just a phrase, it's a reality. At any given moment, tens of thousands of ships are moving across the world's oceans. Depending on how they are counted, roughly 50,000 to 100,000 vessels may be at sea at any time. These include oil tankers, LNG carriers, passenger ships, and most importantly, container ships. About 80 to 90% of global trade moves through sea routes. Every minute, thousands of containers are traveling across the oceans. If you open ship tracking websites like Marine Traffic or Vessel Finder, you'll see the oceans covered with thousands of small moving lights. Each light represents a ship, and every ship carries goods worth millions of dollars. One of the biggest sources of these container shipments is China. China has become the manufacturing hub of the world. From clothing to electronics, from toys to heavy machinery, a huge portion of global products leave China and travel to Europe and the United States. Container ships vary greatly in size. Smaller ships may carry around 1,000 containers, while the largest modern ships can transport more than 20,000 containers. This means that millions of containers are moving across the oceans at any given time. Our mobile phones, our clothes, even everyday household items. At some point, many of them have traveled inside these steel containers. Naturally, when a container arrives full on one side, it should return empty on the other. But this is where the real story begins. Global trade is not balanced. China exports so much that the flow of filled containers leaving its ports rarely slows down. In 2023, China's trade surplus exceeded $800 billion. This means China exported far more goods than it imported. When these filled containers arrive in Europe and the United States, a logistical challenge appears. Europe's trade balance with China is relatively smaller, but the case of the United States is even more interesting. The United States is the largest consumer market in the world. This means containers arrive in very large numbers, but there isn't always enough export cargo to send them back filled. As a result, a significant portion of containers leaving some US ports are shipped back empty. So what happens to those empty containers? Many people assume they simply return to China with new cargo, but the economic reality is more complex. Shipping an empty container across the ocean can cost thousands of dollars, and more importantly, that container takes up valuable space on the ship. Space that could instead carry a filled container with goods worth much more money. Because of this, shipping companies sometimes send containers back empty quickly or reposition them to ports where they are needed most. For manufacturers, producing new containers can also be relatively affordable. Depending on steel prices and market conditions, a brand new container may cost around $2,500 to $4,000. Every year, millions of new containers are produced around the world. The result? In many industrial areas near ports in North America and Europe, large stacks of empty containers can sometimes be seen. Some are reused as storage units. Some are converted into temporary homes, offices, or small buildings. And when containers reach the end of their useful life, they can be recycled for their metal. A standard shipping container weighs more than 2 tons, most of it steel. So the next time you see stacks of containers near a port, remember this. They are not just steel boxes. They are part of the enormous system that keeps the global economy moving. And sometimes they also reveal the imbalances within that system. But the strange nature of the global economy doesn't end here. Now we come to a question that confuses many people. The United States is one of the largest oil producers in the world. So why does it still import oil? We'll explore that question in detail in the next video.